Top to see Mike Andrew have a look at his EK, and he's been doing some carbon work after Cadwell the other day. So he didn't have his oil cooler on, so he needed to get that on. Oil temps were creeping up, which he knew would happen. It was just a shakedown, so. So he's on his oil cooler, so he's been making some cool carbon bits and some ducting. So I've come round to annoy him, get a cup of tea, and have a look what he's doing. First things first is to always work clean. Especially when you're working with carbon, you just keep having a clean up because it's nasty stuff.
That's the thick stuff I use as like.
So this is the thicker stuff. So you start out with cloth, obviously, and then cut it to what shape you want, make moulds and things. Then obviously you have to put resin in.
That's like a bit of a
Stiffen it up. That's quite a deep, large tool. It's heavy. What? How many grams is this stuff?
Ooh, I think it's either 300 or 400 grams.
Heavy grade stuff.
So it's some heavy stuff. Whereas the outside of the carbon.
But in the end, obviously, when you put resin
200.
in, you end up with a piece of carbon. So we start getting into more into that now, making all sorts of stuff. So obviously we've seen this before on a previous video. He's got his built K20 and what he's done. So he started doing some other things. So he's relocated now his oil filter around here, which is a lot nicer. Because obviously the subframe what is used has made things a bit tight. It's better to put that there, and to be fair, I think that's better anyway, because you always get a lot of oil everywhere, which is quite messy. So this is nice and tidy. This was lovely what Elle's made. It's all machine from billet. It's beautiful bit of alley. Pleased with that. So that's really cool. So he's been on with this. So this is the sort of stuff he makes, which I think's awesome, and I'm a bit jealous now. I'm gonna have to get him to make some stuff for my car, which is cool. So yeah, he's put a modification in now. So he's made a mould and made this. So now he's using that as a mounting bracket, so then he can neatly mount his oil cooler inside there, which is pretty awesome, I think. So he's just mounting that at the moment. Looks mega. Obviously his pipe work's gonna come through, and that'll keep his oil temps in check. But where was this from, Mike? This actual oil cooler? It's nice.
eBay.
So
it's China Fab Special.
That's cool, isn't it? But I did the same. I've had all sorts over the years. I've had Moco ones. I've had I think a Citrab one, whatever, and they're no better.
Well, if you have a look,
same with intercoolers we've had.
Mishimoto Rad. I bought it because it's got a lifetime warranty, and the welds are absolutely junk.
Yeah.
And it actually leaked when I got it, so I contacted them, and they basically told me that I have to fill out loads of forms. So I basically fixed it myself. That's why I've gone with China Fab again.
But I don't think they're ever any better, are they? So personally, yeah. I had the same with intercoolers. When I was turbo, you were the same. Intercoolers, you know, we used, didn't we? Just like bespoke generic ones, and they're absolutely fine. As long as you do a bit of quality control and check they're all right, don't have no issues. A cooler's a cooler end of the day. As long as they're structurally sound and they've been pressure tested, I've never really had no issues. So.
But I mean, they're like a third of the cost of like a branded one, and they probably made it the same factory.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it?
So yeah.
Yeah, this is quite cool, breather tank and stuff. This is what did Booty originally make this? Didn't he? It's a shame.
That was actually just sat on his shelf. I don't know. I can't remember how we'd done the filter. That I managed to find a small K&N, and then we managed to chop it out. But yeah, that was like just what he made that we just sat there. It's just been modified ever since. So.
Cool thing. Yeah, Mike was saying on track the other day, no real issues. Everything's working really, really well, considering it's sort of first time it'd been out for a proper shakedown really on a new engine. It was absolutely spot on, so absolutely buzzing over that. Seen this before, so this is another bit what Mike moulded up and made. So that's his airbox, if you like, for his filter. It reminds me of sort of touring car stuff, BTCC style. I absolutely love it. I love that.
Touring car stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely brilliant. But I think as well you get a nice noise, don't you, from that? It's a bit like an echo chamber, so not only is it nice and cold, you get some resonance, don't you?
Yeah,
I think that sounds cool.
From what people have said, you can't even hear the English.
I think good on videos. I think the phone sometimes as well, though, is never the same, is it, as when you're there, so...
Phil did say that, he said the video doesn't do it justice.
Yeah. What was the noise, actually, the exhaust, when they did the test, or didn't they tell you?
No, they didn't tell me, I didn't ask.
Right.
I was just like, it's passed, so happy.
I bet it's 103 or something like that, isn't it? So
On static?
I bet.
I don't think it's that loud, to be honest, on static. It's more when it's... Apparently, through copies, as soon as I load it up, that's when it's really loud.
Right.
Everywhere else, it's not too bad. It's when it's really loaded up. I don't know if that's because I was short shifting.
Possibly.
So it was down. Like some places, I went even in VTEC. Just to keep oil temps under control.
Loves his to-do lists, does Mikey. Done a compression test, that's all healthy, so that's good. Nice idea to do that when you've got new engines, and also as they go through life of engines, keeps an eye on them. Then you know when things are. When we were turbocharged, we used to have a right laugh because they start really good, seal, and then they just get progressively worse, and usually at some point lose one cylinder. Another thing as well worth mentioning, so we both run the same brakes. Mike got these first, so these are I really like them, they're the sort of K-Sport if you like, and I think D2 and a few other companies used a similar casting if you like for the calipers, but really pleased with them. But anyway, one thing that is a bit disappointing is when you get the pads, they don't quite sit where you want them to sit in the caliper, so they sit over the top of the lip, so they wear a step into them. So I need to do mine, but what Mike sort of does, which is a good idea, and I don't know why they don't do it when they're sending me out, to be fair, but there's a tiny bit on the corners there, on the backing plates, you just need machining, which then allows the pad obviously just to drop in a little bit, and then they fit much better. But why they don't do that, you know, from the beginning, I don't know. If you don't, the pad overhangs slightly over the top, and then it doesn't really harm anything, but to me, you're going to get a bit of heat there, a bit of brake drag. It's certainly not ideal, is it? So anyway.
The back pad as well, it'll only go, that one won't go flush because it hits the bracket holding the caliper on. Yeah. So it'll only go so far in. So
yeah, and so they're still up.
Yeah.
As you can see, that one is
slightly
very close to the top, whereas that one's sat down a little bit. But it is what it is. But this is what you get when they are very, very good, but you are using generic parts have to fit a lot of vehicles, so they're never going to be perfect, but they're still brilliant, and I'm really happy with pedal, so is Mike. But Mike's gone one step further than me, which I need to do. So Mike's running home developments as, vacuum servo delete, if you like, which gives you a better pedal. So that's probably something I should look at. Makes it a lot firmer, and Mike reckons it's much more progressive. So that's something I need to look at in the future. I was talking to home developments actually the other week about maybe going to that setup. So that's going to be something cool to do. In the future. So I'm so excited about that. But yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Love coming around here and just have a cup of tea, do some tuning, and stuff. Just, I don't know, just love these type of cars and never really get bored of it. This is an area where everybody always wants to talk about as well, but I'm always really impressed with these BCs as well. There's loads of different types of coilovers you can get now, but these have been on for a while now. I had no issues with them, relatively easy to set up. And I'm really impressed with these. I'm on Yellow Speed Competition Pluses, but if I'd had enough money at time, I'd have gone for a set of these. I do think they are a bit better, and obviously with the external reservoirs, you've got that extra oil capacity and stuff. Brilliant. Another good part. Look cool as well, don't they? Let's be honest. So yeah, if you get into making carbon fibre parts, I know Jesse from JCal, one of his mates, he's doing a lot now. Josh is doing a lot as well. Who races his EG, if you know Josh. Josh Lawton. So yeah, carbon work is more than what you think. It's not just a case of just mix some resin in the pot and chuck it in and off you go. There's more to it, and mould making first, and then obviously there's different things you put in to get textures, vac bagging. It's not an easy thing to do. You've got to know what you're doing with it. So, and it's not cheap either. Actually, it's how you bought all the right resins and bits and bobs. And stuff, it gets expensive, but that's cool. I'll probably get him to do a video on making a bit of carbon at some point. So yeah, not a massive one today. Just thought I've noticed that people only really seem to want to watch for 5-10 minutes, and they get bored these days, don't they? So yeah, just thought I'd let you know what we're sort of getting up to at the minute. Keep you posted. I'll get back on my car probably after this weekend. Still got them last few bits to do, and then get some extra little bits done on that. So I'll keep you posted on that, and I need to put it on the dyno before I do some other stuff to engine. So that's the next thing as well. I need to speak to Simon Norton from Norton Tuning Solutions, and see if we can borrow his dyno for a bit and chuck that on. We'll probably see if we can chuck this on actually at the same time, which would be cool. So I'll do a dyno video and see where we're at power wise and stuff. So yeah, any questions, give us a shout. What else you want to know about Mike's car, then put in comments, and I'll go through it with you. So yeah, cheers for watching. Catch you again.